they're welcome. Because I'm pretty sure that me coming home a week before was the energetic shift in the matrix that we needed. You know, it was something to do with us red gold. Well, that's ginger for the layman.
Yeah.
We prefer red gold now.
Red gold. So the Redskins pulling out a tough one against the Carolina Panthers.
That was kind of surprising, but I think the Redskins are better than their record. Even though they're not doing anything. They're just gonna be a thorn in the Eagles' side. But yeah, because Adrian Peterson? Fuck Adrian Peterson.
All right, well, we won't dwell on those guys too long then. The Seahawks handling business against the abysmal Raiders as they continue their downward spiral.
Another battle of the scrubs.
We're talking about John Gruden wants to trade Amari Cooper. He's looking to get a first-round draft pick compensation for him.
Yeah, and I bet everybody's like, oh, yeah, after that concussion, yeah. I bet the teams are lining up for that fucking little bitch.
Yeah.
But I just want to make a comment about the Seattle Seahawks. I've watched them for the last 10 years. Get a goddamn offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, you have Russell Wilson, who's a great quarterback, but he's running for his life.
The problem is, right, they got so much money tied up in Russell Wilson. They have so much money tied into guys like Bobby Wagner, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas. That's where, I mean, you got to have money for an offensive line.
They put their money into the defense, and they paid for it because Cam Chancellor has been injured and you know, not as good as he's been back in the day when they had Legion of Boom. I mean, like all those guys, look. Goddamn, San Francisco now. I can't believe I can't think of his name. Guy from Stanford.
Oh, Richard Sherman.
Yeah, thank you. Jeez. I mean, he's not what he once was. Cam Chancellor is not what he once was. Earl Thomas, unfortunately, was having a hell of a year until he got hurt in a contract year. Very unfortunate. He should have held out. This is why people who are not getting the deal that they want should hold out, because you wind up getting hurt, and now nobody's going to pick him up for the money that he's worth.
I don't think that team was built for the long term anyways.
Who? The
Seattle Seahawks, when they had the Legion of Boom. I think that they met, all the criteria that they were supposed to. They got to, 2 or 3 Super Bowls, right? They won?
2. Won 1, lost 1.
Yeah, so they lost to New England, and then they beat Denver, correct?
Yes.
So, I mean,
manhandled Denver.
2 Super Bowl runs in a 3-4 year span. That's not bad for the NFL nowadays.
Not at all. And they were right there the next year. That second Super Bowl, when they, Bevel and Carroll got they're too smart for their own good. They got cute with that stupid pass play on 3rd down. You fucking run the goddamn ball at the 1 yard line
with Marshawn Lynch.
With the fucking beast mode. The only NFL player who's registered an earthquake. Remember that? Remember that game against New Orleans when he basically destroyed the entire team?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fans, the 12th man, registered on the Richter scale.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
it still boggles my mind. Had they have won that Super Bowl, I think we're talking about a Seattle dynasty.
Okay.
I think it's totally different. I mean, think about those guys were hungry. They were glad to be back in that second Super Bowl. Everything went downhill when they threw the ball.
That play calling at the end. Yeah, they got cute because they were probably Pete Carroll probably got caught up in his head oh, they're expecting us to run, so if we throw it here, and sure enough, it's Bill Belichick.
Hey, they could stack the line. They're still not going to stop beast mode. Give it to them on 3rd. Give it to them on 4th. Do not put the ball in the air. Give the ball to the guy that got you there.
We're not going to sit here and dwell on what Seattle should have and would have done.
They are,
but in a battle of doo-doo, the Jets came out victorious against the Colts, 42-34.
Turnovers are a motherfucker.
Yeah, we'll keep cruising to the Chargers, putting a beat down on the Cleveland Baker Mayfield-led Browns.
I was disappointed. I'm really rooting for
Baker Mayfield.
No, for Cleveland in general. I'm rooting for those guys. They're not a bad team. A lot of the games they lose, notwithstanding this game, but a lot of the games they lose are, you know, a touchdown or less.
How much of the blame? You got to get rid of Hugh Jackman.
I don't know. I don't follow Cleveland enough. I just know that the Chargers, they should have had a better showing against the Chargers. Chargers are not that good.
Okay.
But Melvin Gordon's the best.
Falcons being victorious against the
No defense.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No defense, no defense.
And then we'll end our Week 6 recap with the Philadelphia Eagles coming out victorious against the abysmal, downward spiral New York Giants.
Wow, that was a good game for the Eagles to get back on track, that's for sure.
Are they back on track?
Well, we'll see. But, I mean, they seem to be clicking. It seemed to be a little bit of a confidence boost. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, they have a tough schedule coming up, so.
All right, well.
I mean, the Giants are, you know, they manhandled the Giants.
So we got teams like Philadelphia that are currently sitting at what? 3-3?
3-3, yeah.
3-3. Then you get a team like the Texans. They're 3-3. Then there's a couple more. You got the Steelers who are up and down, and there's a couple others. But let's talk about players that should maybe be moved, right?
The only player I'm thinking about right now is why Le'Veon Bell is not in a Philadelphia Eagles uniform right now.
Well, there's Le'Veon Bell, right, which the Eagles could benefit from. A team like the Texans could benefit from for a better running game.
Certainly more than Shady McCoy.
No, well, Shady McCoy is another potential trade. Is that a guy
I don't think
that could help the Eagles keep their march forward?
I don't think so. He's 30 years old.
You know he hasn't scored a touchdown this year?
Yeah, and he's a big part of the Bills' offense, and I think he's going to be a big part of them moving forward. It doesn't make sense for the Bills to move him, because then what do they have? They're basically...
They have nothing as it is,
Yeah,
though. Why keep money tied into a guy like LaShawn McCoy and said you can send him to a contender or something?
How much money do they have tied into him, though? He's a running back. He's older. I don't think they have that much money tied into him.
Let's see. LaShawn McCoy. We'll do the old Google Boogle with LaShawn McCoy salary.
But LaShawn McCoy is 30 years old, and, yeah, he's a threat, but I don't know. He seems to me like more of a desperation move. Le'Veon Bell seems more of a sure thing.
So
a team like the Philadelphia Eagles,
this year they're paying him $8.9 million, and next year they're going to be paying $9.5 million. Is that the type of money that a team like Buffalo, with so many holes, should keep tied in, or do you think they should try to get draft capital for him?
Get draft capital for him. You know, he's getting paid $9 million. He could give me $1 million and still have $8 million.
Well, all right. Some other potential guys that should be on the move. Patrick Peterson. I think it's time that he and the Cardinals part ways, because they should get whatever they can for him. I mean, they're paying him just over $10 million a year.
If I'm an Arizona Cardinal, I'm pulling a Jimmy Butler, and I'm creating
drama.
I'm creating drama. Anything to get me the hell out of there. I mean, Arizona is a beautiful place. Best pizza I've ever eaten is in a place called Bianco's Pizzeria, for all you Arizona listeners out there.
Yeah.
But if I'm in Arizona, I'm trying to get the hell out of there.
And there's also stud running back David Johnson, who they only signed to like a 3-year extension. He should be on the move too. It's another name. All those names I named, right? You got Le'Veon Bell. Who we named? Le'Veon Bell, LaShawn McCoy, Patrick Peterson, David Johnson. Those are 4 names that I know in particular, right? Mm-hmm. The Texans and the Eagles should be knocking at the door and saying, hey, what can we do to get these guys away from you?
Le'Veon Bell, man. Just pick him up for the year, cut him after that, see how it goes. Eagles have no run game. Le'Veon Bell is the only player that I give 2 shits about right now, other than Amari Cooper.
All right, well.
I'm worried about his concussion.
So let's jump into our Week 7 predictions.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Yep.
You pump up the volume?
Dance, dance.
All right, starting on Thursday night, we got the Denver Broncos playing the Arizona Cardinals. Both teams have been a disappointment this year. I believe the Broncos are making the trip to Arizona. Oh, that's a photo.
That's a Thursday night game.
Thursday night game.
I take Broncos 24-21.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's going to watch that game, though.
No, not at all. But I think Arizona may skeet this one out. But I'm gonna have to go and say that while I can see Arizona skeeting this out, I'm gonna go with Denver possibly because Denver's on a 2-game losing streak or maybe a 1-game. I forget.
What do they have to play for? What does Arizona have to play for? They're not winning their division. They're not even coming. They're not even gonna.
Don't fuck up your draft positioning.
That's right.
Don't do it.
That's right.
Don't do it. Take the best offensive tackle out there, boy. All right.
Yeah.
We'll jump in. Tennessee Titans will be taking on the San Diego Chargers. Is that in London? Because it's saying 9:30 a.m.
That is a London game, yeah.
First and foremost, let me say, fuck both those teams.
Right. And why are they representing the NFL in London?
Because the Jaguars haven't moved there yet.
Who schedules this shit? Who thought the Titans and the Chargers? Although I will say this, a lot of times those London games turn out to be really high-scoring, exciting games.
I think the Chargers are going to beat the brakes off of them. I think Melvin Gordon's going to have one of his best running days in his career.
Yeah, that guy's a beast.
Against that Titans defense.
That guy's a beast. Did you know that? So Seattle showed up a week before the game to get adjusted to the time zone, and Carolina showed up the day before or something like that. Two different philosophies of how to approach a game, right? Show up, play, get out, versus get there,
get acclimated
to all that stuff, and
let it speak for itself, I guess.
It spoke for itself for sure. I'll be interested to see what the Titans and Chargers do, but
I'm going to get the Chargers. Who do you got pulling out?
I have the Chargers.
The Chargers?
Yeah.
All right.
28-13.
Sunday football action. We got the Carolina Panthers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's a trap game for the Eagles. Big test. Must win for both teams, really, to continue to be considered as legitimate contenders. But the Eagles especially. The Eagles have such a difficult schedule. Every single one.
I think the Panthers are going to play stout defense. Cam Newton's going to go ham and come out on top in the end. It could be a close one, though. I'll say 27-24 Carolina. I
feel like in recent history, it's always been a close one. Obviously, different coaches, different teams now, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Seattle, Carolina. I give the edge to the Eagles. I go 33-17.
Okay, Vikings taking on the Jets. Jets. Woo!
Sam Darnold is going to get a taste of what a real NFL defense is all about.
Yeah, I can see the Vikings pulling out victorious in a beatdown of the New York Football Jets.
Yep.
What say you? You got the Vikings as well?
I definitely have the Vikings in this team. I'm very bullish on the Vikings.
So we're basically 4 for 4 with picking them right now. We haven't not seen.
Oh, we haven't deviated. Okay. All right.
No, wait. You had the Eagles and I had the Panthers.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. Here you go. Bills taking on the Indianapolis Colts.
Bills and Colts. Actually, the Colts are not playing bad.
It's another
football.
battle of the incompetents.
I don't know though. I mean, you put up 34 points. The Colts put up 34 points last week
against the Jets.
Right, and that should win a game. So why? I don't.
I can see the Colts coming out victorious in this one.
I think the Colts have the edge. I like the way Andrew Luck is playing. They're not winning, and their defense is not that great. But I could see the Colts beating the Bills.
Patriots taking on the Chicago Bears.
You already know. They're not losing.
You're going with handsome Tom Brady?
Oh, fuck yeah.
I got that defense smacking handsome Tom Brady to fuck up, frustrating him, and Bears come out victorious.
Do you honestly think Bill Belichick is going to allow Khalil Mack and that defense to disrupt
Well, I think they may have lost their right tackle the other night.
Yeah, so they'll run to the left or they'll throw hot routes.
That defense is too good, man. They got studs all over the place.
They definitely do, but I mean, you know, New England Patriots, until somebody beats them, they're still the #1 team. Oh, wait. Eagles did beat them.
Browns taking on the Buccaneers. I got the Baker Mayfield-led Browns.
Baker Mayfield's going to put up a 30-piece.
Yeah?
He's going to put up a 30-piece on Tampa Bay. But Tampa Bay is the worst. I mean, they're averaging, like, they're giving up 24 to 30 points, something like that. Their defense sucks. Right. And Jameis Winston, put in Fitzpatrick. What are you doing?
Houston Texans taking on division rival Jacksonville Jaguars. Whoever wins this game may leave division leader.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville has a lot to prove. They're so hot and cold one week. Blake Bortles is terrible. The next week, he's great. I've got the Jaguars in a tough game, 17-14.
Texans have been 3-0 since I started doing this, so I got to keep the tradition going, and I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars only because that defense is too elite. I can't see any way that the Texans keep up at that level, at that pace.
No.
Lions taking on the Brock Osweiler
Brock Osweiler, yeah. I haven't heard anything about the Lions since they beat the Patriots.
I got Matt Stafford and his missing chromosome, or which one's for Down syndrome? Missing chromosome or extra chromosome?
I don't know.
Whatever the missing chromosome, all right?
Yeah.
Matt Stafford and his missing chromosome crush the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
All right. The New Orleans Saints taking on the red-hot Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. That New Orleans Saints offense is so good. Their defense is not that great, but I think they're gonna roll over. I think they're gonna roll over the Ravens. Is it in Baltimore? It's in Baltimore, yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it might be in Baltimore.
Gives them a chance, but
Here you go. Cowboys taking on the Washington Redskins.
I predict they're both going to lose.
Yeah, it's a tie. It's a tie.
Yeah.
I got the Redskins coming out on top. I think they're going to welcome Dak McNabb back to earth.
I sure hope so, because I do not want to see that Cowboys team get confident at all. I'm much happier to see...
No, you want them to get confident because...
No, I don't want them to get confident because they have talent on that team. A guy like Ezekiel Elliott can run the ball. Dak Prescott in his...
Dak McNabb on this show.
Dak McNabb. Call him what you want. I mean, but he has proven that he can be successful and that he can play well.
Overcome adversity.
Overcome adversity in life and on the field. But Alex Smith, I'd much rather see Alex Smith down the line than Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott.
Dak McNabb.
Dak McNabb.
Rams are going to beat the piss out of the San Francisco 49ers. I think this might be another one of those 40-7 games, 40-3. I can also see the Niners dropping a goose egg.
Yeah, when you lose your starting quarterback and your starting running back, that's very difficult to recover from. We'll get to know PJ or CJ Beathard, the red gold.
Red gold.
Yeah, we'll get to see more of him, but I don't think the Rams are gonna beat the Niners like they should beat them, which is just beat the pants off of them. It's a division game. They always get played tough. I mean, you look at how the Rams struggled against the Seattle Seahawks and had to come back at the end of the game to win that. But I do see the Rams winning this game. Todd Gurley, Jared Goff, these guys.
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, these guys are too good. And then that defense is
loaded across the board.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football, we got the Who Day, right? What's that? Who Dat is New Orleans and Who Day is Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, I heard one of the New Orleans players mention how they were kind of ripping them off. I think they ought to just. I don't know what they should do.
I'm going to go with
It's not working.
the Cincinnati Bengals defeating the Kansas City Chiefs. I think New England opened up the door on how do you beat the Chiefs is you got to
put up 43 points because
you
they're going to put up 30
You got to be
points.
better on offense, right? I think their defense is maybe not a phenomenal defense, but I think their defense is better than the Chiefs.
The Bengals?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
The whole Chiefs defense it's a bunch of slow players. Slow. And then when you're lining up guys like John Doxson, A.J. Green, Tyler Eifert, they got John Ross, Joe Mixon. They got a nice, they're not too shabby themselves. I think this is one of those games that, you know, like Dallas Cowboys, Cincinnati Bengals will win a game that gets their fan base's hopes up, and then they're one and done in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be one and done in the playoffs. They've proven that year after year they are who we thought we were.
Out on top, my brother.
Yeah, I could see Kansas City dropping 2, kind of coming back to earth.
And then we end with Monday Night Football. The New York Football Giants taking on
Little Giants.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Giants are a train wreck. They're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Atlanta hasn't been necessarily on fire themselves.
Well, not defensively.
And I believe they just put Devontae Freeman on IR as well.
Yeah, but I still, you know, if you got a quarterback like Eli Manning who can't throw the ball past 15 yards, you ain't going nowhere. Saquon Barkley is fantastic. I love watching this kid. I think he's destined for greatness. But until they get rid of Eli Manning and address that offensive line, Eli Manning's been sacked 21 times through the first 6 games, the most in his career through the first 6 games. He's not a scrambler. He's not making plays out of the pocket. That team is going nowhere fast. It's imploding. It's only going to get worse.
I think the Giants pull one out here. I think they do.
No.
I think Atlanta has too many injuries on their defense, right? And I think it's going to start question marks about the Atlanta Falcons' future with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones.
I don't think there's any question whatsoever with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones.
I don't
He's
think
putting up Hall of Fame numbers. They call him Matty Ice for a reason.
I don't think Julio is a Falcon next year.
Well, that's
to be determined. But right now, I currently do not see.
Show me the data that shows that New York can put up more than 17 or more than 24 points. Atlanta's going to kill them on offense. Defensively, they're garbage. So, you know, maybe Eli throws for 1 touchdown.
Spoken like a true fucking Eagles fan, you dirtbag.
All you got to do is watch them. All they have is Saquon Barkley because Odell Beckham is completely obsolete because Eli can't get the ball to him. He can't get a pass off because he's running for his life.
They're fighting to keep the #1 overall pick with.
They're fighting to keep that.
With Arizona.
They're fighting to keep that core together. That team is yeah. If they're smart, they bench Eli, put in the 3rd stringer, lose every game, and get the #1 overall pick and get a quarterback, or trade it for somebody who's out there like Colin Kaepernick.
They're probably better.
Colin Kaepernick would be better than Eli Manning. How does he not have a job right now?
Well, we know why he doesn't have a job, so we don't got to play semantics.
It's
but
stupid.
I
He's
think
better than.
If you ask me, them in Arizona, I think it'll be another year like. Who was it that came out the same year? Was it Joe Thomas and Jake Long? Were those the 2 offensive tackles taken the same year? Maybe. I think it'll be a year like that. I can't see the Giants taking a quarterback with the 1st overall pick. I don't think the kid from Washington or the kid from Oregon warrant being taken to a quarterback needy team in a top 5.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to think of the kid's name from Washington. It's not
Browning.
Browning. Not yeah. I was gonna
Jake
say.
Browning, Josh Browning, one of those. Jay
Yeah.
Browning.
Yeah, I don't really believe in him.
You can't trust Pac-12 quarterbacks.
I think their best option is to get that #1 pick and then trade it for someone who's available.
If not, settle for the best offensive tackle. Oh, yeah, back to our trade talk before we get out of here. Landon Collins.
What about him?
Should the Giants move on and try to trade him as well? Should teams be knocking on his door that need safety help?
I think the Giants should be fire sailing anybody and everybody to get as many picks as they can and get as much cash as they can.
I think they should as well, especially now that they got all that money tied up in OBJ.
Odell? Yeah, what did they pay him? $90 million?
Too much.
Too much? And they knew what they were getting when they paid him. And he knew what he was getting when... I don't understand why he signed that. I mean, what...
You don't understand why. That motherfucker wants to get paid. Listen, I'll give props to him. If he was able to shake down the New York Giants front office for that kind of bread, so fucking be it.
It's New York. They have to pay that kind of
I get it, but at the end of the day, that's what separates good fucking teams from bad teams.
Yeah, but
bad teams overpay their talent.
100%.
Great teams, most of the time, they fill that minimum void with their guys, and then 9 times out of 10, they're walking or they're signing an average vet deal.
OBJ would have been better served had he have gone to taken a little bit less money. And we're talking about like, let's say he got paid $90 million by the Giants. If he would have taken $75 million. When you're making $75 million, what's another $15 million? You're going to pay $15 million in taxes.
It comes down to guaranteed money, though.
Right, and understandable. Like, he's got to do whatever's right for his family. I get it.
Sure, but at the end of the day, like I said, that's what separates good teams from bad teams.
But at the end of the day, for him, if he took less money for a better team, he's probably going to get bigger clothing or shoe line or other
sure, but that's what separates selfish players from guys that are about money and guys that are about winning. But you look at teams like New England, right? When was the last time New England ever broke the bank? No. Exactly. Yeah, but look at Seattle when they were first going on their run. They weren't paying everyone. The problem is they waited too long.
They had Russell Wilson in a rookie contract. Yeah, and then everybody had to get paid.
Then everyone had to get paid all at the same time. It wasn't gradual.
Well, no, it was like year after year. It was like Michael Bennett wanted to get paid.
Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Who did outside of the position that they should? Ben Roethlisberger, their quarterback, and Antonio Brown, right?
Yeah.
Have they broke the bank for anyone? And they got solid players of both sides of the ball, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Those are 3 franchises there that are winning each and every fucking year. And then, all right, here you go.
And they also have really good coaches. And they also have really good
scouts,
quarterbacks.
Good across the board. Look at Green Bay, right? One of my knocks for Green Bay is they waited too long to address their defense because it's aging. But outside of Aaron Rodgers, who have they broken the bank for?
Well, that's a problem too, though.
It can be a problem. It can be a problem. Like the Texans, they got $35 million in cap space, but yet they ain't banging on the door for Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, Patrick Peterson. Meanwhile, they have holes at cornerback. They have holes at running. You can be too cheap, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, when you're winning, no one's really complaining whether or not you're spending money.
Oh, yeah, nobody cares. But when you're a team like the Green Bay Packers and you have what will be a Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, some who argue he is the best player in the game, not all time, but this year, last year, the year before, definitely in the discussion of the best quarterback that year. And you don't make those moves to put the pieces around him and try to win while you have him in his prime. I mean, yeah, so it's a double-edged sword. It's like you could spend all the money in the world and not get jack squat. Or you could...
All right, but here's this, right? Would you rather be a New York Giant fan knowing that they overpaid Odell Beckham, who's considered a top 3 wide receiver, or would you be more content with Green Bay as a fan, even though they don't break the bank? You at least know each and every year they're going to be in playoff contention as long as Aaron Rodgers is not, I won't say healthy, but on the field.
Yeah.
Which fan base do you think is more confident? Where would you be happier?
Well, I'm much more confident if I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. I'm not confident at all in the decision.
All right, here we go.
Hold on to Eli Manning and overpay OBJ and deal with all
Let's
that.
switch quarterbacks real quick. Let's say Aaron Rodgers is a Giant and Eli.
They're instant Super Bowl contenders.
Green Bay. You're saying that Aaron Rodgers, even though they got all that money, so then all the money that's tied up in their defense currently, right? I don't even think they would have the cap space. All the money that's already on their defense, then you got all that money that's in Odell, right? Mm-hmm. Then you'd have all that money that's for Aaron, right? Mm-hmm. That would literally have to be like a one and done, like when New England brought in Aqib Talib and Darrell Revis, and then they sent them on their way afterwards. That's what it have to be, because the problem for New York is they don't have talent, but the talent that they do have, they're going to have to overpay. Like Evan Ingram, their tight end, they're going to have to overpay him. They're going to have to overpay Landon Collins because, one, he's a stud, but they're going to have to pay him ridiculous money to stay as a Giant.
To keep him, yeah. They're going to have to pay him to keep him.
And as of right now, they haven't done nothing to say, please stay. So you have to risk overpaying and jamming up more cap space that they already have.
I think that's a short-sighted way of running a company or a football team. You cut your losses. You don't overpay people, because then you're stuck for years. You get rid of them. You hold on to the money. You try to build in the draft.
So let me ask you, would you settle for one ring and struggle every season after that, or would you rather be a fan of a team that's at least may not go to the Super Bowl, but is at least in contention each and every year religiously?
If you're guaranteeing me one Super Bowl win,
one Super Bowl and nothing ever again,
I'm taking the team that's in contention every year, because you could have a dynasty, you could have a back-to-back, you could have 2 and 3 years, you could have.
So that's basically what you would get if Aaron Rodgers was with the Giants for this year.
I'm taking it though. If I'm a New York Giants,
but I think
putting Eli in the dumpster.
I think if Eli's with Green Bay though, Green Bay is still a playoff contender.
No.
Absolutely.
Nobody's talking about Green Bay. If Eli Manning is with Green,
Eli just has to get his Alex Smith on, right? Just do enough not to fuck up.
Listen to what you're saying.
Listen
to what you're saying.
Alex Smith was going deep in the playoffs with the Chiefs. That's what you're not getting.
2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. Eli Manning has to be more like Alex Smith. No.
Do enough just not to fuck up. Listen.
No, he needs to just go away. He can't throw the ball past 15 yards. You and I could get in there and sling the ball.
Get your Alex Smith on. Dink and dunks. 10 yards,
That's what they're doing now.
10 yards.
Dink and dunks. That's all they did against the Eagles was dink and dunk, and it got them nowhere. It gets them nowhere.
But look at their offensive. He doesn't have time. You put him behind Green Bay's offensive line, who has like Pro Bowlers, compared to you get human turnstiles on New York.
Well, yeah.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers has that same success with New York.
No,
I think he's running for his life.
Well, he's running, but he's way more mobile than Eli Manning, at least.
But how much better would that put him in a position?
He can reach Odell Beckham down the field. He and Odell Beckham will connect at least twice in every series.
Odell.
New York is an instant playoff team with Aaron Rodgers on that team. A 1-for-1 swap with Eli Manning? No.
Possibly.
Guaranteed.
But
1-for-1 swap.
On that note, we're gonna end the Intentional Grounding podcast. I'm your host, Chris Otto, with substitute co-host Adam Otto, my brother. Any hot football takes before we get out of here, bud?
No, I really want to watch that Cincinnati game.
And the Chiefs?
Week. Yeah.
All right.
It's going to say a lot about the Chiefs and the Bengals. Till
next time, boys and girls, when Uncle Glenny gets done from attacking the people in Nashville, we'll catch you next week. Right on.
It's going to...